Welcome back, everybody, to the Daily Show where we discuss and do technical analysis for big mega cap stocks. So show your support by hitting that thumbs up button, and that is greatly appreciated. And if you're new here, consider subscribing, and that means a lot to me. Now, if you want to get my daily trade ideas, my swing trade ideas, my analysis in 3 days of live trading, definitely check out the Patreon, and that link will be down below in the description. And now let's get right into it, guys. We have big earnings next week on Wednesday from Meta. Now Friday was down 1.33%, nothing big, getting closer to the support 305 and getting a bounce. But now if you look at my screen before, the earnings, it's below daily 20-day moving average right here, 311, which is not bullish in the short term. So Meta needs to hold 305 and Meta needs to break 311 and then 312 right here. If that breaks, you're going to see a little bit of run up here on Meta before earnings up to 316 and maybe even 326. Now I think there is a 6 to 7% expected move on Meta for next week for the earnings. So I'll be posting those on my X account. If you're on there, definitely give me a follow, and that link will be down below in the description also. So Meta, guys, watch 305, a big support, and then watch out for 302.84 and then 300. To the upside, it needs to get above 311 to 312 right here. And only if that breaks, you're going to see more upside up to 316 and then 326 right here on top. On Nvda, stock is down 1.70% and Nvda getting up to 424.70. And if you look at my screen, a lot of volume traded right here, guys. 420 and 424 right here. And this is where Nvda got rejected. And then what happened? We saw a dump off all the way down to 410, but into closing, barely holding this trend line right here around 412 right here. So that needs to hold going into next week. And also, look at this neckline right here, this head and shoulder pattern. We're pretty much right at the neckline, and if that breaks, like I said before, guys, and I've been saying it for last maybe 5 to 6 months, even before this earnings right here, that soon or later this thing will come down right here. And yes, we got some time for earnings, that is next month, but if this thing breaks below, especially 400, it's all over. You're going to see a lot more selling and this thing will come down. So next week, you want to watch right here around 412 to 413 as a support, and then lower Bollinger Band down here around 406, 400, and then the gap below 395.30. To the upside, it needs to get above 420, and only if that happens, you're going to see a quick trip all the way up to 431.43 on Nvidia stock. On Microsoft, it's down 1.40%, and look at this support that is holding on Microsoft. First of all, it's holding this trend line right here, this breakout, and also it's holding above 20-day moving average right here, this white line, and also into closing, it's holding 50-day moving average right here, and that is at 326. Now it needs to get over 330 right here, and soon as that happens, you're going to see a quick trip all the way up to 339. And why? Look at this Bollinger Band expanding all the way up to 339 on Microsoft. Now to the downside, below 326, and then Microsoft comes down here to daily 20-day moving average right here, 323.75, and takes that out. It's all over. You're going to see a dump off all the way down to 316 down here. So far, for last maybe 1 week or so, it's holding right here. So I would say if that holds, guys, we could see a run up back up to the upside, at least in the short term. 339 possible on Microsoft, but you're line in the sand right here, and that is between 323.75 to 326. On Amazon, stock is down 2.52%, and Amazon getting absolutely decimated Now below 126, a critical support right here on Amazon. We also have earnings coming on Amazon, and I think that is on Thursday. So next week, guys, there is gonna be lots of volatility in the market. We got big names reporting earnings next week, and Amazon could be another stock we could see a big move or a huge dump off. And why? Not because of the earnings only. Technicals are saying the same thing because it's getting a Bollinger Band squeeze right here. Upper Bollinger Band coming down and the lower one actually moving higher, sitting right here around 123 to 124. So next week, especially Monday, you need to see Amazon breaking and holding 126. And only if that happens, you could see a run up before earnings all the way up to 128.44, 20 SMA on this daily chart, and above that 130, 133.42, and then the gap above 135.20. Now Amazon stays below 126. Watch out for the support. Lower Bollinger Band down here 123.46 and then 118. On Google, stock is down 1.61% and Google holding 20-day moving average right here, this white line, 136.66 into closing as a support. And just below that, we have 50-day moving average right here, 135. And only if that gives up, you're going to see a dump off all the way down to 130. Now, I said it before so many times, and this thing actually ran to the upside. And I can say it again, guys. I mean, Google left some big gaps down here. And it's nowhere near these gaps down here. So at some point, they also have earnings. Google with bad earnings, expect some of these gaps getting filled. Now with some good earnings, yes, like I said before, air is thin right up here. And if this thing can stay above 138 to 140, you're going to see, a fresh new all-time high, or at least a new 52-week high on Google stock, just like the way we saw right here. So watch this support down here, 136.66, 135, 130, and to the upside, it needs to get over 138 and then 140. Above 140, more upside up to 144 to 145, and then 150 with earnings coming out. We could see that here on Google stock. I mean, this is just getting a pullback because market also sold off, and if overall stock market is selling off, even if the stock is bullish, it's going to come down. So, I'm not saying that Google looking really bad, but also keep that in mind. I mean, earnings can play a big part here on Google stock. If you are playing earnings, I mean, good luck to you guys. On Tesla, stock is down 3.69%, and Tesla totally getting destroyed at this moment. And this is not a place to short Tesla. And I warned and I said it before so many times. People were buying puts here, guys. And, I saw it. It's not like, I'm making things up. People were actually buying puts right here on this dip. And then what happened? This thing flipped, ran back up all the way up to 280 almost. And again, look at the RSI, 27. Now, would you be shorting this stock right here or buying the dip or not even doing anything? I'm buying the dip. I bought the dip on Friday, and this is not the first time I'm buying a dip on Tesla and holding and making money. So I know if I can hold my shares, this thing will come back up. There is some unfinished business, at least up to 242. That would give me some money, right? So that is why I'm buying. And if this thing continues to drop even more, I mean, it's getting decimated, killed right here. I'll be buying even more shares of Tesla because on this dip, I actually had 1,200 shares that I bought pre-market in the morning. And guess what I did? This thing went back up $7-8 and I cashed in. Imagine having my 1,200 shares and forget about riding all the way up to 300. Even if I took profit here, how much money that is, guys. So that is why, I know it looks ugly. Earnings are bad. But look at Meta, for example. About a year ago, what happened? Last year, bear market, right? 88 bucks. Earnings, it was horrible. What happened? Big drop, $88 after hour. And then dip buying started. all those earnings exploded, and now 330. So same thing applies right here. When things are looking bad on a big company like Tesla, that is when I buy the dip, I hold, and I make some money. Now I do have some long-term shares on Tesla that I bought right here, and those I'm just holding. I mean, this thing was up here at 300 almost. That is long term, so I'm not selling anytime soon. Even if this thing dips even more, probably will buy some more, because I was just really upset with myself, just making a swing trade and not holding those shares at least up to 160 to 180, and selling for pretty much nothing. I mean, 7-8 grand, that's not enough money, and I was spending over 100 grand on those shares. So that was actually a bad trade, even though I made money. So Tesla here, guys, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I don't think this is the time to short Tesla. For me, it's time for me to buy the dip, and I bought some shares, like I said, Friday also, and I'm just adding into my position and building my position on Tesla for a big run up that's going to happen, but it's going to take some time. It's not going to happen overnight because bad earnings, technicals are not looking good. So this is not something you can flip overnight. You have to get that. Now Tesla here, if you look at my screen, pretty much at the same lows and kind of under right here, 212. So the next big support here on Tesla, if you look at my screen, around 200, guys. And look at this right here. That is where a lot of volume traded on Tesla. So we should find good support here on Tesla around 200. And the next buy on Tesla for me will be down here. Now to the upside, definitely it's ready and it can go anytime. We could see a relief rally to the upside. Getting extremely oversold, Tesla, a big name, trading below lower Bollinger Band for multiple days. So watch out for a move back up to 220, and soon as that breaks, you're going to see a quick trip all the way up to 230, 671, and then this gap on top, 242. On Apple, stock is down 1.47%, and Apple breaking below this critical support 173. Actually went back up on Friday after breaking down below the support, but at the end we saw everything coming down. S&P 500 going down below daily 200-day moving average, and Apple is just not going to hold. So now, guys, you need to look for a different option on Apple stock, and that is this support down here, 170, and then the gap below 167. We also have the biggest earnings coming next week from Apple. So this one, I mean, usually Apple runs, end of this month into next month. So Apple could be a big runner, but with earnings, there is no guarantee what's going to happen. I mean, last two earnings from Apple, they were not that great. So Apple stock now, you need to watch for 170 key level, and I don't see it going below too much, maybe 167, but knowing that earnings coming next week, not this week, but the following week, we got earnings from Apple. I mean, this thing can just maybe chop in between 170 and 173, but it's not too far away from 173. If this thing breaks 173, definitely money to be made. Day trading, this thing can run up to 175.47 and possibly up to even 177. So if you're a bull on Apple, you need to see Apple actually get above 20-day moving average right here, 175.47 first, and then taking out 177. And if you're a bear on Apple, then Apple needs to stay below 173, and that should bring Apple down to 170 and then possibly down to the gap 167. On Netflix, absolutely flat on the day. As a matter of fact, went all the way up to 410.64, and we did not take out this low from Thursday, and also on Friday took out this high from Thursday, which is bullish. But when everything is selling off, especially overall market selling off, nothing is going to hold. But look at this one, guys, absolutely flat on the day, holding 50-day moving average right here for 100, and that is bullish for Netflix. I'm looking for the dip to possibly make a swing trade or day trade on Netflix. If this thing somehow gets down to, right now, I don't even see 376 anymore. These moving averages right here are actually coming back up. So now I would say 390, and if I get lucky, 380, that's gonna be my range to open a position on Netflix or maybe even buy some shares. I think this thing can run now, at least next few days. If there's a dip, this thing will run. This Bollinger Band on top will expand, and then you're going to see 406 breaking and holding, and the next stop 418 here on the stock. So watch 400, and below that we could be coming down here around 395 to 390, and that's gonna be a dip buy on Netflix. If you're buying puts and you're shorting here, well, only thing I can say, they had some really good earnings, and if you're shorting, you gotta have a tight stop loss here on Netflix. On AMD, also down on the day Friday and barely holding right here close to 101, 102. We do have inverse head and shoulder on AMD, and that's why I took these lines off from here, this breakout, but it's holding this breakout right here close to 101, 102. And right here we got inverse head and shoulder, and if that plays out, you're going to see a big move to the upside, but it needs to hold right here around 101 to 102, and then needs to hold on AMD. If not, you're going to see flat 100 and then $98, and that is where daily 200-day moving average sitting on AMD. To the upside, even on Friday we saw AMD going up to almost 105. So that needs to break. 105 can break and hold on AMD. The next stop 110, and then the gap above just under 116. And that's all I have for you guys in this video. Thank you so much for watching.